Hello, friends. Today we are going to learn a powerful life lesson through a short and interesting story. The story will show you why winning every argument doesn't always lead to success in life. So let's begin. In a busy city, there lived a man named Kiran. He was intelligent, confident, and highly skilled at communicating with people. No matter where he was, at work, with friends, or even at family gatherings, Kiran always seemed to win every argument. If someone disagreed with him, he would use facts, logic, and clever reasoning until the other person had nothing left to say. Over time, people started saying the same thing. Don't argue with Kiran, he always wins. At first, Kiran felt proud whenever he heard those words. He often thought to himself, I am always right, nobody can defeat me in a discussion. The more arguments he won, the more confident he became. One day, a new CEO named Ajay joined Kiran's company. Ajay was calm, experienced, and respected by everyone in the organization. A few weeks later, the company held an important strategy meeting. Managers and team leaders gathered in a large conference room to discuss ideas for the company's future. When it was Kiran's turn to speak, he confidently presented his idea. After listening carefully, Ajay smiled and said, that is an interesting approach, Kiran. However, I think there might be another way to achieve the same result. Ajay then explained his own idea. The moment Ajay finished speaking, Kiran replied, I don't think that would work, sir. Let me explain why. For the next several minutes, Kiran challenged every point Ajay made. Whenever Ajay presented a reason, Kiran presented an counter argument. Whenever Ajay suggested an alternative, Kiran explained why his own solution was better. The discussion continued for nearly half an hour. Eventually, everyone in the room became silent. No one wanted to join the debate anymore. At the end of the meeting, Ajay simply nodded and said, all right, let's move on. Kiran felt satisfied. As he walked out of the conference room, he thought, once again, I proved that I was right. Months passed. Several exciting opportunities became available within the company. New leadership positions opened up. Important projects were assigned. Promotions were announced. To Kiran's surprise, he was not selected for any of them. Instead, those opportunities were given to other employees who were less experienced than him, employees who were not as intelligent as him, employees who had fewer achievements than him. Kiran couldn't understand why. One day he decided to speak directly with Ajay. He walked into the CEO's office and said, Sir, may I ask you something? Ajay smiled and replied, Of course, Kiran, please sit down. Kiran took a seat and said, I have consistently delivered good results. I worked hard, I meet my targets, and I contribute valuable ideas. So why am I never chosen for a bigger opportunities? Ajay looked at him for a moment and then said, that's a fair question. Come with me. Ajay led Kiran into a meeting room. In the center of the room, there was a chessboard. Kiran looked and confused. Ajay sat down and asked, do you know how to play chess? Kiran smiled. Yes, sir. I played for years. Good, said Ajay. Let's play a game. The game began. Both men played carefully. Kiran focused intensely on every move. Several minutes later, Ajay intentionally made a small mistake. Kiran immediately noticed it. He pointed at the board and said, Sir, that was a mistake. Ajay nodded. You are right. Then Ajay looked directly at Kiran and asked, Tell me something. Are you trying to win the game or are you trying to prove that I made a mistake? The question caught Kiran off guard. For a moment, he didn't know how to respond. Ajay continued, think about it carefully. There is a difference between winning and proving that someone else is wrong. Kiran remained silent. Ajay leaned back in his chair and said, Kiran, do you know what your biggest problem is? Kiran shook his head. No, sir. Ajay replied, you win almost every argument, but you lost something much more important. Kiran looked puzzled. What do I lose? Ajay answered, you lost people. The room became completely quiet. Ajay continued speaking. You enter every discussion with one goal to win. You don't listen to understand. You listen to respond. You don't look for solutions. You look for mistakes in other people's ideas. Kiran listened carefully. For the first time, he wasn't preparing a counter argument. He was simply listening. Ajay said, people don't avoid you because you are wrong. They avoid you because they never feel heard. When people talk to you, they feel like they are competing with you, and nobody wants every conversation to feel like a battle. Those words stayed in Kiran's mind long after the meeting ended. That evening, he couldn't stop thinking about them. For years, he had believed that being the smartest person in the room was the key to success, but now he wondered if he had been focusing on the wrong thing all along. The next day, Kiran decided to try something different. Whenever someone spoke, he listened without interrupting. Instead of immediately sharing his opinion, he asked questions. Instead of trying to prove people wrong, he tried to understand their perspective. At first, it felt strange, but gradually something unexpected happened. People started approaching him more often. Team members began asking for his advice. Meetings became more productive. Clients trusted him more. His relationships improved. For the first time, people weren't respecting him because he was right. They were respecting him because they felt understood. A year later, another leadership position became available. This time, Kiran was selected. When Ajay announced the promotion, he called Kiran into his office. Kiran smiled and said, "Thank you, sir." Ajay smiled back and replied, "You earned it." Then he added one final piece of advice: the day you stop trying to be the smartest person in the room, you become the most valuable person in the room. Life lesson: winning every argument does not make a person successful. True success comes from understanding others, building trust, and helping people work together. People rarely remember who won the argument, but they always remember how you made them feel. Sometimes the strongest person in the room is not the one who speaks the most, it is the one who listens the best. Thank you, friends. If you like this story, please subscribe to our channel.